wedyn byddai dweud stori wrth mi. Dyna'r stori. Soft out with a tune. Here's a song. On the hill was a tree, oh, bren bra, what a fine tree. A brenner, there are dim. The tree on the hill, on the hill, on the earth on nothing. Find a bravo the brin, set over the bren. Oh, gank brav on the tree was a branch, with a fine branch. A ganker, penner, brinner, there are dim. The branch on the tree, and the tree on the hill, on the hill, on the earth, and the earth on nothing. Find a bravo the brin, set over the plan. On a gank neath, oh, neath brav on the branch was a nest, with a fine nest. Neath the ganker, penner, brinner, there are dim. The nest on the branch, on the tree, and the tree on the hill, on the earth on nothing. Find a bravo the brin, set over the cran. Underneath was oi, brav on the nest was an egg, what a fine egg. Rhif, ganker, penner, brinner, there are the egg on the nest, on the branch on the tree on the hill on the earth on nothing. Find a bravo the brim, set over the bran. Oh, right as king, oh, you brav, from the egg came a chick, oh, what a fine chick. A pure way nithar, gankar, brenner, there are them. The chick from the egg on the nest on the branch of the tree on the hill of the earth on. Nothing, they the bravo, the brim, the cover the plan. Are a cue or plea, bra from the chick, what feathers, what fine feathers. Plea, there are them. The feathers on the chick from the egg on the nest on the branch of the tree on the hill on. Nothing, they the bravo, the brim, set over the friend. Oh, who doth wedding, oh wedding brown, from the feathers came. A bed, what a fine bed, a well or plea, or nithar, brenner, they are them, the feathers, the bed from the feathers on the chick, and the chick from the egg on the nest, and the nest on the branch on the tree, and the tree on the hill, and the hill on the earth, and the earth on. That's it. The bravo, the brim, set above the friend. Yeah. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Right, there was a tune, there was a song, a nawr dyma'r stori. Stori am frenin o'r enw, y frenin mawr March, the great King March. And King March, he was a fine-looking king. O le, I don't know beth oedd e'n feddwl. He used to look in the mirror and he used to think, don't I look good? Don't I look good, the great King March. Ond, weithiau, pan fydd yn edrych yn y dryd, oedd yna rhywbeth oedd e ddim yn licio. Because sometimes when we look in the mirror, we think, I look pretty good, except there's often like one thing we don't like. Like we think, oh, don't like the way my nose looks. A gyda'r brenin March, Cystia. It was his ears. He didn't like his ears, he had funny ears. A peth yw, Cystie'r brenin March, oedd yn sticto I fyny, his ears stuck up and they were all pointed at the top, ac yn flewog, hairy, pointy ears. In fact, he had horse's ears. It's a bit weird. Oedd Cystia ceffil gyda'r brenin mawr March. The great King March had horse's ears. And he thought, well, os bydd pobl yn gweld o'r Cystia ceffil gyda hi, bydden nhw werth him. They'll laugh at me. Would you laugh at someone if you saw they had horse's ears? Isn't that look funny? And people can't laugh at me, a king. Well, brenin, people should show me respect. So, and he felt ashamed of his horse's ears. So he thought, better cover them up. We should kitty off in this day. He wanted to hide his ears. So he tried wearing a cap like that. On a pair of feet, what do you think of the world of this year? You see my ears? Right, that's no good. So, then trio cap arall. Drio le cap fel un. Right. Ydych chi'n gallu gweld ar distiau? Do you see my ears? You can see one, that's no good. Do I look like a king wearing a cap like that? Not really like a king. Okay, drio there, cap. So in drio there, het fel na. Cuddio clustiau. Can you hide my ears? Not really working. So yn y diwedd, penderfynodd e, byddai'n gwisgo het blan. So he got a woolly hat, Is that covering my ears? Must be now. You still see a little bit of them? Okay. So o'r brenin march, bydde fe bob dydd, bob amser, trwy'r dydd, trwy'r nos, every day, day and night, summer and winter, rain and sun. He used to wear a woolly hat right over his ears, fel bydde neb yn gallu gweld I glustia. Some people like that. They always wear a woolly hat, they never take it off. Fel na, oedd y brenin march. Ond, a peth yw, fel all amser pan oedd rhaid cael torri wallt. He could feel his hair growing and growing and growing underneath his woolly hat. And he thought, I need a haircut. Now, you can't keep your hat on when you have a haircut. So fel brenin, after him at the barber, he didn't go out to the barber's shop. The barber, the man who's going to cut his hair, was summoned to the palace, to a private room, and dyma fe'n cau'r curtains. And there he sat down. Tynnodd e'r het. A'r barber yn dechrau torri wallt. The barber was cutting his hair. And then he noticed, a sylweddol o dde, eich mawr ydy, Your Majesty, mae Cristia Ceffyl gyda'r brenin mawr march, the great King March has horses. Shut up, said the king. Peidiwch King said, yeah, I'm allowed to say that because they're my ears. Ond dwi ddim yn cael gweld. Cyfrinach, a secret. So, ddim I fod I weid wrth neb o'r Cristia Ceffyl. It's a secret you mustn't ever tell anyone I've got horse's ears. Because if you do, byddai yn neud pethau erchus a do terrible things to you. I'm the... Okay. Sorry, dear. I understand. Dwi ddim I fod I dweud bod Cristia Ceffyl Dar brenin mawr march, that the great King March has horses. Shut your mouth, said the king. Oh, all right, sorry. And the barber, he had those words going round and round in his head. My Cristia Ceffyl gyda'r brenin mawr march, the great King March has horses. But he knew he wasn't allowed to tell anyone, so he kept his mouth shut. Ac yn ffurfio rhyw fath o gan yn I benne, o fe fel sy'n tôn. So he just hummed the tune. So after Etra went home, now, peth yw, pan mae rhywun wedi dweud cyfrinach, when someone's told you a secret, and said, this is a secret, peidiwch yn gweud wrth neb arall, don't tell anyone, ever. What do you want to do? I think most of us want to go and tell somebody and say, Peter, don't tell anyone, this is a secret. I think that's what most of us want to do. So the barber, oedd eisiau gweud wrth rhywun, but he knew he couldn't tell anyone. So weithiau, pan mae rhywbeth yn dy ben di, there's something in your head and it's going round and round in your head, and it makes you feel bad because you want to talk to someone about it, ti'n gwybod bod I ddim yn cael siarad gyda unrhyw. So dyma'r barber mynd yn dost ac yn sar. He was sick. He was not feeling very well. Because he had this, he couldn't talk to anyone. A mae'r doctor yn dod ato fe, a'r meddyg yn... He felt his pulse. There was the barber in bed, he's not feeling very well. Felt his pulse, listened to his chest, clywed I galon yn curo. Edrych lawr I odwg. A wedyn, dyma'r doctor, the doctor said, you know, physically I can't see anything wrong with you. Ond, oes rhywbeth ar eich meddwl, something on your mind. And the barber said, oh, you didn't can't wait. I can't tell anyone, I can't say. And the doctor would say, cyfrinach, it's a secret. Yeah, it's a secret, so I can't tell you. The doctor says, well, if you tell me, I won't tell anyone else, so maybe you'll feel better. No, I can't tell anyone. So the doctor goes, right, syniad arall. This is my idea. Cer mas i'r goedwig, go into the forest, and tell the secret to the trees. Achos dim llais gyda coed, yw coed ddim yn gallu siarad. If you tell the trees, they don't have a voice, they can't speak, they won't tell anyone else. So you won't have told any person, but maybe you will feel better. So mae Barbara yn meddwl y mae'n werth trian, dyna werth y try. So he goes out to the forest, a dyma fe yn y goedwig, a mae fe'n gweld yr holl goed, sees all these trees, edrych I weld bod neb yna, make sure there's no person there. And then he opens his mouth and he goes, Ma clystiau ceffyl gyda'r brenin mawr march, the great king March has horses' ears. Ma clystiau ceffyl gyda'r brenin mawr march, the great king March has horses' ears. Ma clystiau ceffyl gyda'r brenin mawr march, the great king March has horses' ears. Oh, that seemed a lot of it. You felt better then? You said it. So Barbara yn meddwl, well, dyna diwedd y peth. He thought, that's the end of it, I feel better. But, fe ddath rhyw gerddorion i'r goedwig. A little bit later, some musicians, travelling musicians, came to the forest, the same bit of forest where the trees were, the trees that knew the secret. Ac oedd un ohonyn nhw yn canu'r ffidil neu'r ddeilyn, ac un yn canu'r delyn, y harp, ac un arall, a ware rhyw squeeze box bach. So dyna'r offerynnau, dyna that was the instruments they played. Ond y peth yw oedd ei offer yn nhw yn hen. Their instruments had grown old and they wanted to make new musical instruments. So a violin is made out of wood. And a harp. Telyn wedi wneud mas o bren, wood. Mostly, other things, bits of metal and other things with the strings, mostly wood. And this, though it's covered in shiny black plastic, is largely made out of wood. So, mwyn cael y pren, to get the wood, cael y pren I wneud yr offerynnau, oedd rhaid torri'r coed. So they cut down those very trees that knew the secret about the great King March. The trees that don't have a voice and can't talk. And then they chopped them into planks, a dyma nhw'n wneud ffidil newydd, a telyn newydd, a squeeze box newydd, they made a new violin, a new harp. So, dyw pren ddim yn gallu siarad, dim llais gyda pren. Wood doesn't have a voice, wood can't speak. Ond unwaith bod ti'n neud offeryn cer, as a musical instrument, once you made a musical instrument, then the wood can sing. So oedd yr offerynnau cerdd yma, these instruments, they were made out of the wood that knew the secret, and they wanted to tell the secret. Ond oedd y cerddorion ddim yn gwybod hyn, a mae'r cerddorion nawr yn mynd I lys y brenin, and when they got to King March's court, as the king wearing his woolly hat, the king said, yeah, I like music, play me some music, play me some music. So, dyma'r ffidil yn dechrau, a mae'r delyn a mae'r harp carries on. And then one of them's playing a little black squeeze box, and altogether it sounds like my clistia kettle gyda brenin mawr march, the great king March has horses, yes. My clistia kettle gyda brenin mawr march, the great king March has... Stop! Said the king. What do you know? What are you playing? What are those words you're singing? The musician said, well, sorry, Mam Legan, you didn't intend to be playing. You weren't singing anything. You didn't want to play an offeryn, we were just playing our instruments. The king said, but geiriau, a ni'n gallu clywed geiriau, I can hear words. Mae'r cerddori'n gweud bod ni ddim yn deall beth sy'n digwydd. You can't understand quite how that happened. We'll play something else, we'll play another tune. So mae'r cerddorion yn ail ddechrau. A mae'r ffidil, y violin sounds like and the harp sounds like da-ring, 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 ding, ding, ding. And altogether it sounds like my Christian kettle in the ready mouth, the great King Mark has horses, yes. My Christian kettle in the ready mouth, the great King Mark has horses, yes. My Christian kettle in the ready mouth, the great King Mark has horses. Stop, said the king. Stop, I don't want to hear that. You didn't shake to give you that. It's happening again, whatever tune you... The musician said, I'm vegan, and he's sorry, we don't understand. Whatever tune we play, and we're not even opening our mouths, dim o'n chwarae yn offer yna, just playing our instruments, a wedyn, a geiriau yna yn dod allan. A rhaid bod yna rhyw festyll ar ein offer, there must be some curse on our musical instruments. Now we wire rhywbeth that we'll play something completely different now, that it won't happen this time, definitely. Do them a minute with. The great King Mark has horses, yes. Artist der Keffer, the running Mark, the great King Mark has horses, yes. Artist der Keffer, the running Mark, the great King Mark has horses. Stop, said the king. Well, Marie Hwyr, I'm a power to it. On should not mess it. How's this happened to you in musical instruments? So whatever tune you play, it always changes. And there's like words that are coming out of it. And he keeps on talking about or neb yn gwybod. Cyfrinach o there. Cyfrinach was a secret. No one knew about my ears. One person knew. Pwy oedd yn gwybod? Who knew about his ears? The barber, thank you. The barber, the man who cut his hair. So we called him. And he said to the barber, someone at the barber, he said, o dych chi wedi gweud wrth i rywun, have you told anyone about my ears? The barber said, no, where is your name? I never told anyone. Or did you ever open your mouth and just say about my ears? And the barber said, well, unwaith, yn y goedwig. Is he mas i'r goedwig? I only told the trees. Trees can't tell a secret, because trees don't have a voice, do they? Trees only told the trees. So dyma'r cerddorion yn dweud, right, fi'n meddwl bod ni yn deall, we worked it out. What it was, the trees that knew the secret were the same trees that we cut down and made our new musical instruments out of, so that when we played them, they wanted to say the secret. And mae'r brenin, the king said, well, however it's happened, mae'r un hwyr, mae pawb yn gwybod nawr, mae pawb yn gwybod bod cystiau ceffyl, everyone knows about my horse's ears, still pwynt i ni wisgo hec ma trwy'r amser, no point. You can all see my horse's ears, and byddwch chi gyd yn gallu chwerthin, and you're all going to laugh at me, and you're going to be ashamed of me, and you're not going to want me to be your king anymore. And they all looked at him, and that they chwerthin. And they didn't laugh. And then, dyma un o'r bobl yn y llys, one of the people came up to him and said, eich mawr ydy'r brenin mach. Your Majesty, wi'n meddwl bod chi'n edrych yn reit da gyda cystiau ceffyl. They rather suit you, horse's ears. You look rather good. And someone else says, in fact, it's a rather distinguished look, horse's ears. Yes, it's a... A rhywun arall yn gweud, well, dim brad arall gyda brenin, gyda cystiau ceffyl. No other country's got a king with horse's ears. It makes you special. Makes us special. And one of the girls came up to him and said, yes, sir. Actually, horse's ears, mae'n rhaid ti edrych yn reit golygus a deniadol. Yes, rather, horse's ears give you a rather sort of attractive look. So wedyn, mae'r brenin mach yn meddwl, the king thought, well, dim ots bod cystiau ceffyl. Doesn't matter. No one minds. Os dim rhaid I fi wisgo'r het na, don't need to wear a woolly hat all the time. And as dim ots beth sy'n digwydd pan mae'r cerddorion yn ware i'n cerddoriaeth. So he says to musicians, it doesn't matter about everyone knowing about my horse's ears, no, so just carry on and play whatever you want. So the musicians carried on playing. The It sounded like this. Maar Christian Catholic, the Brennan Mawr, the great King Mark has horses here. Maar Christian Catholic, the Brennan Mawr, the great King Mark has horses here. Maar Christian Catholic, the Brennan Mawr, the great King Mark has horses here. Maar Christian Catholic, the Brennan Mawr, the great King Mark has horses here. Maar Christian Catholic, the Brennan Mawr, the great King Mark has horses here. Maar Christian Catholic, the Brennan Mawr, the great King Mark has horses here. The great King Mark has horses. Yes. Yeah. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi, thank you very much. So King Mark had horses ears. There's a clue there in his name, because Mark was his name, but Mark is also the word mae'n air arall am geffyl. It's a word for a horse, or stallion. A wy'n mynd i gael ei gan nawr o'r enw y Mark Glas. Another song, The Grey Stallion. It's a sort of boasting song. Mae gen I fach glas a hwn twli os dim o'i fath yn Sir Aberteifi. I've got a grey stallion is the best one in Cardiff. Mae gen I gyfrwynewi o bron ochr mochyn ffrwyn dwbl rhaint. Wastol, with other words, Anyway, I was boasting about I got a saddle and I got a hat and a coat. And it goes a bit like this. Gen I fach glas a ffôn nhw'n twli, dos dim o'i fath yn Sir Aberteifi. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Mae gen I gyfrwynewi o gron ochr mochyn ffrwyn dwbl rhaint a gwarthol ysbargyn. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Mae gen I het silk o siop a par hondi, ffrisiwn I ddim o'i soffren amdani. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Mae gen I got fain o waith, teir y Llundain, stitio yn dyn o boed ti fy nghefn. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Mae gen I fach glas o hwn o'n twli, os dim o'i fath yn Sir Aberteifi. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Falar-a-lilda, falar-a-lilda, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-ha-ha, falar-a-lilda. Oh, you knew that song? Oh, good. Oh, great. So were you singing along with it? All right. Good. Yeah. Right. Oh, now. An hour, another story. Once upon a time. Blynydde maith yn ôl, cyn fy amser I, cyn eich amser chi, cyn amser eich tad, cyn amser fy nhad chi, before your time, before my father's time, before my grandfather's time, indeed, probably even before his grandfather's time. But that time, you know what time I mean, yn yr hen ddyddiau, in the old days, pan oedd anifeiliaid yn gallu siarad with animals to talk. Some of them. Oedd na fachgen o'r enw Jack. So Jack. Now the thing is, when I say there was a boy called Jack, you might be thinking I'm going to talk about Jack and the beanstalk, or Jack and the giant killer. But no, this is a different Jack. They were all called Jack. So beth oedd the enw? What was his name? Good. So Jack, oedd yn byw gyda'i fan, lived with his mother, didn't have much money, so penderfynodd I fynd I deithio. He was going to travel to seek his fortune. So wedodd wrth I fan, bore fi'n mynd I ddechrau teithio I chwilio am a fortune, chwilio am fywyd gwell. And his mother said, very good, I'll make you some food to take with you. And she made him a little meat pie, and he put the meat pie on his bag, in his bag, put the meat pie in his bag, and the bag on his back, bore wedyn, in the morning. And dyma fe'n dechrau cerdded lawr yr hewl. And he walked, and he walked, and he walked, and he walked, and he walked. Dwi ddim yn gwybod a nath gerdded am amser hir neu am amser byr, ond ar ôl spell fe glywodd he heard a sound, and the sound he heard sounded like what makes it sound like a donkey. That's it. And anyone know the Welsh word for donkey? I do, the Welsh word for donkey. Da iawn, asim. Ac yn ddigon siŵr I chi welodd asim round the cornel. As he went down the next corner, he could see a donkey, and oedd yr asim ddim yn hapus iawn. And the reason why the donkey wasn't happy, there were some men with sticks, and they were beating the donkey, hitting it on his head, hitting him on his back and his backside. And Jack yn dweud, pidwch â gwneud na. Pidwch â bod mor greilan ac yn gas. Don't be horrible and cruel. Don't do that. And he chased the men away. So mae'r asir nawr yn dod lan at o Jack. The donkey comes up to him and says, diolch yn fawr. And then he asks Jack what his name is. He said, dweud wrthai, beth yw dy enw di? And Jack says, Jack, diolch. And then he asks him where he's going. I ble wyt ti'n mynd? A Jack yn dweud, wel, wi'n mynd I hel fy fortune a chwilio am fywyd gwell. I'm going to seek my fortune and look for a better life. Hoffet I ddod gyda ni. Would you like to come with me? And the donkey says, hoffwn, I would. A fedri I to helpu di mewn unrhyw ffordd y gallai. I'll try and help you any way I can. So now, Jack Asim, the donkey, they carry on walking down the road. A maen nhw'n cerdded. Don't know whether they walk for a long while or a short while, but after a while, they heard another noise. What was that? A dog. I can ride. Key. Da iawn, ac yn ddigon siŵr i chi pan troedd e rownd y gornel nesaf, round the next corner, he saw a dog, a doedd y ci ddim yn hapus iawn. I'll tell you why the dog wasn't happy. There were some boys, and they tied a saucepan to the dog's tail. And then they kicked your key. Not very good. So the dog was all frightened, being kicked, and he was trying to run away. And then the saucepan tied to his tail was making a noise, clattering, and that was frightening him more. And he was running away, and the boys were laughing, kicking the dog. And Jack said, Peter Haglina, don't do that. Peter aboard more gas and more grain, and don't be so cruel. And he chased the boys away, untied the saucepan. So Marquis and dod lan at Jack, the dog came up to Jack, and the dog said, Diolch yn fawr. And then he asked Jack his name. He said, "Beth yw dy enw di?" And Jack said, "My name is Jack." And then he said, Blair asked him where he's going. He blew ti'n mynd. And Jack said, "Wi'n mynd I helfa ffortiwn a chwilio am fywyd gwell. Going to seek my fortune and to look for a better life. Would you like to come along with me?" And the dog said, "Don't mind if I do." So now ma Jack a'r asyn a'r ci. They carry on walking down the road. A maen nhw'n cerdded. They walked and they walked and they walked and they walked. Don't know whether they walked along, they walked a short way on our all spell right they were there. They heard another a cat. Diolch yn fawr, thank you very much. Ond oedd y cat ddim yn hapus iawn. Not a happy cat. Because when Jack went around the next corner, oedd y gath ma'n edrych fel sgerbwyd. It looked more like the skeleton of a cat than a living cat. So thin, its bones were sticking out. Oedd y gath hon yn llwgu yn starfo. So what did Jack have in his bag? His mother had given him when he started out to a meat pie, thank you. So he cut the pie in half and he gave half the pie to the cat, and mae'r gath yn bit ar holl gig. The cat ate all the meat in half of the pie, and the cat felt a lot better. So the cat came up to Jack, and mae'r gath yn gweud, "Well, diolch yn fawr." And the cat asked Jack his name, said, "Beth yw dy enw di?" And Jack said, "My name is Diolch." And then the cat asked where Jack was going. He blew ti'n mynd, and Jack said, "Well, wi'n mynd I helfa fortune, going to seek my fortune and to look for a better life. Would you like to come along with me?" And the cat said, "Don't mind if I do. I'll try and help you anywhere I can." So now Jack, Asim, the donkey, Ci, the dog, gath. Mae'n cario ymlaen I gerdded lawr hel. A mae'n cerdded. They walked and they walked and they walked. Until suddenly they heard another noise. Listen to it now. A cockerel, ceiliog. And, well, though the ceiliog ddim yn hapus iawn. I'll tell you why the cockerel wasn't very happy, because the cockerel's neck was held by the teeth of a fox. And the fox was running away, and all the cadno, and he laughed at ceiliog. The fox was going to kill the cockerel and eat it up. So Jack ran after the fox, and the dog ran after the fox, and then the fox got frightened. So he opened his mouth, let the cockerel free, and mae'r ceiliog nawr yn dod lan at Jack. A ceiliog, the cockerel, said to Jack, "Diolch yn fawr." And the cockerel asked Jack his name and said, Gwelwch I, beth yw dy enw di? And Jack said, my name is... And you. And then he asked Jack where he was going. He said, ble wyt ti'n mynd? And Jack said, we mynd I hel fy fortune, a chwilio am fywyd gwell, going to seek my fortune and look for a better life. Would you like to come with me? And the cockerel said, dim ots, dy fi wneud. A fedri I to helpu di mewn unrhyw ffordd y gallai. I'll try and help you in any way that I can. So now, Jack, Acid, the donkey, Keen, the dog, Gath, the cat, Ceiliog, the cockerel. They carried on walking down the road. Maen nhw'n cerdded a cerdded. Ac erbyn hyn, maen nhw wedi bod yn cerdded am amser hir. Jack's certainly been walking a long day. He's been walking a long time, walking all day. Met the donkey, the dog, the cat and the cockerel. And he's walking through a forest, cerdded trwy ryw goedwig. Mae'n dechrau mynd yn y hwyr, getting late, it's getting dark. He's tired, he's cold. So Jack reckons time for him to sit down and have a bit of a rest. So mae fe'n eistedd lawr o dan goeden. There he is in the forest, sits down underneath a tree. Jack and the dog and the donkey and the cat and the cockerel. And they've only got half of the pie left, so they cut it into slices, not a lot, rhwng nhw I gyd between them. And they decide to go to sleep just as they are, or down the goeden, just on the earth, not very comfortable. Jack takes his bag off. But the cockerel, mae'r ceiliog yn gweud, fi'n mynd I gysgu ar gangen on a branch of the tree, achos dyna lle fi teimlo'n gyffyrddus. A mae'r ceiliog yn gweud yn y bore, bydda I yn canu. Cockerel says, I will crow in the morning to wake you all up, because that's what cockerels do. So Jack leans against the tree. Jack and Defro, edrych o gwmpas. The thing is, he looks around and it's still dark, and it's still the middle of the night. And he says to the cockerel, why have you woken me up in the middle of the night? The sun hasn't risen. Ond mae'r ceiliog yn gweud, well, edrychas I dan draw fyna, a weles I ryw, o agos I a light. I thought that was the sun rising. So Jack has a look, and he says, yes, right, there is some light, there's something shining over there, it's not the sun. Awn ni weld beth yw e. So they're dal yng nghanol, still the middle of the night, quite dark. And Jack and the others, they walk through the forest, trwy'r goedwig, through the trees. A wedyn maen nhw'n gweld tŷ bychan, bwthyn bach, a sy'n a small little house, a golau yn y ffenestri, light in the windows. So Jack thinks, right, os oes golau yn y ffenestri, mae rai o bobl mewn fyna. A tân, a canolfan. There must be people in that house. And maybe they've got a fire going and it's warm and they've got candles. And maybe they've got food because Jack was hungry. So they meddwl, right, we mynd mewn i'r tŷ, bydd e'n fwy cyffyrddus, it'll be more comfortable than just lying on the ground. But then he thinks a little bit more. A mae fe'n meddwl, wel, bobl yn y tŷ na, dwi ddim yn nabod. A dwi ddim yn gwybod a odyn nhw'n bobl garedig neu'n bobl gas. The people, I don't know who's in that house. And they could be good people, they could be kind people, but they could be bad people. In a little house in the middle of the forest, in the middle of the night. well I fi fod yn ofalus, I better be careful. So he goes up, mae'n edrych trwy'r ffenest, looks through the window, and in the house, there's a big table, ac ar y bord, mae pentrol o ddarnau o air ag arian, treasure, gold and silver pieces, a big pile of treasure. But also, there's lots of food, but also arfer, guns and swords and knives. Mae'r bobl sy'n eistedd o gwmpas y fod, there's some men sitting, a mae'r dynion mae gwallt cyrlio'r dyd ylw, a creithiau ar ei wynebau. They got black curly hair, scars on their faces, these men, and they say, oh, wnaethon ni jobyn da o weithio na fe. Pan eithon ni i'r castell, when we went to the castle, and we robbed all the treasure from the lord of the castle. He'll be angry when he finds there's treasure inside. A bydd sneb yn gallu ffindo ni fan hyn yn ein cyddfan in our hideout here in the middle of the forest. And if anyone sees us, well, we've got our guns and our knives and everything. So Jack's looking through the window, listening to all this, and he's thinking, I don't think they're very nice people. They're robbers. So Jack thinks, well, where should he go that for? Maybe I should leave him alone. But then he has an idea. He thinks all that gold and silver has been robbed from the lord of the castle. If I take it back to him, he might give me a reward. And he thinks, how can I drive the robbers away? So he says to the donkey, he says, put your front feet on the windowsill. So mae'r asyn yn edrych mewn trwy'r ffenest, ond am nawr, dyw'r lladron ddim yn gallu gweld. The robbers can't, well, they could do, but they're not looking out of the window. So the donkey is looking in. A wedyn mae'n gweud wrth y ci, mae'n gweud cerdi ac eistedi ar ben yr asyn. He tells the dog to climb up and sit on the donkey's head. A wedyn mae'n gweud wrth y gath, cerdi a neud i eistedd ar ben key. So the cat climbs up the donkey's back, legs back up to the donkey's back, and then up and sits on top of the dog's head. A wedyn maen nhw'n gweud wrth y ceiliog, the cockerel, cerdi eistedd ar ben y gath. So now, the donkey's looking in through the window of the cottage, with the dog sitting on his head, and the cat sitting on the dog's head, and the cockerel sitting on the cat's head. Now, drwy lladron, ti ddim yn edrych mas drwy'r ffenest. They're not looking at that, they're just looking at their food. Ond tasen nhw'n edrych allan trwy'r ffenest yna. If they happened to look out through that window, they would see a strange, unearthly monster with a cockerel's head on top of a cat's head, on top of a dog's head, on top of the top of a donkey's head. So, pan o'n nhw'n neud hyn, o Jack yn gweud, mae rhaid I chi gyd bod yn dawel I fod wedi dweud cwrdd. And then he says, pan fydda i'n rhoi'r arwydd, when I give the signal, I want you all to make as much noise as you possibly can, all at the same time. Because the thing is, the robbers, if they, in the middle of the forest, in the silence, in the quiet, if they suddenly heard, that would give them a shock. But then, after having a shock, they think, oh, well, dim ond ci, oh, that was only a dog. Or if, in the quiet, they suddenly heard, oh, and then, oh, it was only a donkey. But Jack's idea, syniad Jack, oedd bod nhw gyd yn neud y gwahanol syniad ar yr un pryd. So he wanted all at the same time the donkey to go, and the dog to go, woof, and the cat to go, meow, and the cockerel to go, and between everything, it would make such a horrible noise, such as no one's ever heard before, that the robbers would be terrified and run away. Dyna beth oedd syniad Jack to me. So, there they were, all sitting on each other's heads. And Jack gives the signal, And then they go, it's going to be difficult for me, so I can't do all the different noises at the same time. I'll try. You go, something like that. And the robbers were so terrified. I don't think I was terrifying enough, was I? Shall I try and be more terrified this time? I think that's a good idea. Right, so you need to help me here. So first, all practice being a donkey. Okay, one more time with feeling. I'll try in key. Woof. 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 Calf. Ceiniog. She's the best. Right, I'll try it. More volume, more feeling. I'll power everyone at the same time and doing all the different noises as loud as possible. Well, I'm not quite sure how terrified I was. But in a story, even in an old story now, a Sadron, in the story, the robbers were terrified. And when redig am filltir, they ran for a mile. Redig am ddwy filltir, they ran for 2 miles. Redig am dair filltir, they ran for 3 miles. And maybe they ran all the way out of the story. Who knows how far they went? So now dyma Jack Racin Key Ceiniog. They go into the house. Maen nhw'n bita'r holl bwyd. They eat all the food. Maen nhw'n teimlo lot o well. A'r bore wedyn, maen nhw'n rhoi'r trysor, yr air a'r arian mewn bagiau ar gefn yr asyn. They put the treasure in bags on the donkey's back, and they take it to the Lord of the castle. Jack knocks on the door, and he says, Sir, fi wedi cael gwared o'r lladron nath dwyn y holl trysor chi mewn. I've driven away the robbers who stole all your gold and silver. A dyma ych arian ag ych air. And the Lord of the castle is very pleased. And he says, Jack, you can now live with me in my castle and be the steward of the castle, my chief servant, the most important person apart from me. A Jack yn dweud, well, beth am fy ffrindiau sy'n mynd I helpu fi? Beth am yr asyn y ci, y gath a'r ceiniog? What about my friends? So the Lord of the castle says, well, the donkey can live in the stables with my horses and be fed hay and oats all day and run about in the fields, and the dog can live with my dogs and be given bones and meat and then run about and go for walks, and the cat can live with my cat in the kitchen, in the castle kitchen, and be given cream and fish every day, and the ceiniog, the cockerel, can live in my farm with all the beautiful hens I've got. A Jack yn dweud, well, diolch yn fawr iawn. Ond oedd un person arall yn y stori, right in the dechrau. Who was the other? There was one other character, right at the beginning of the story. It was Jack's mum. So Jack yn dweud, beth am fy mam? What about my mother? And the Lord of the castle says, well, she can live in a luxury apartment, a granny fat in the castle. So there they are. So yn y dechrau, oedd Jack eisiau heli fortune a chwilio am fywyd gwell. Jack wanted to seek his fortune, look for a better life. And there he was living in luxury in the castle for the rest of his life. Ond oedd un peth arall. O digwydd bod merch harf a phrydferth gyda arwydd y castell. The Lord of the castle had a beautiful daughter. And she got to know Jack, and Jack got to know her. I guess nhw'n eitha hoff o'i gilydd. And after becoming fond of each other, dyma nhw'n gwybod mewn cariad, and after they've fallen in love, they decided to get married. Ac yn y briodas, dyma Jack yn dawnsio gyda ei briod y ferch, Jack danced with his bride. Ar blwydd y castell yn dawnsio gyda Mam Jack, the Lord of the Castle danced with Jack's mother, and the donkey danced with the dog, and the cat danced with the cockerel. And after that day, they all lived happily ever after. Diolch yn fawr.